Every year teaches you something, sometimes loud, sometimes quietly at 1 a.m. in the middle of editing. And this year taught me a lot about my business, my clients, my energy, and what truly matters. These weren't surface level lessons. They were the ones that shifted how I work, how I show up, and how I protect my creativity. In this episode, I'm sharing the 5 lessons I'm carrying into the new year. Because if you're a photographer who wants a business that feels aligned, sustainable, and actually supportive of your life, these insights can help you skip a lot of the stress and grow with more clarity and calm. Lesson 1 is simple but powerful. Slowing down makes you better. Not just better at photography, better at reading clients, better at seeing details, better at noticing light, better at understanding your own energy, better at making decisions. I spent many years rushing through sessions, rushing through editing, rushing through planning, rushing through learning, and rushing always made me feel scattered. It made me overthink, it made me reactive, it made me ignore the things that actually needed attention. This year, I practiced slowing down. Not dramatically, not perfectly, but intentionally. Slowing down during sessions, slowing down in my workflow, slowing down in my marketing, slowing down in my decisions. And the impact was immediate. My sessions felt calmer. My clients felt more at ease. My editing felt more consistent. My workflow felt more predictable. My content felt more natural. Slowing down didn't make me less productive. It made me more effective. If you carry one thing into the new year, let it be the permission to move slower than the industry tells you to. Slow is not lazy. Slow is not unmotivated. Slow is intentional. Slow is sustainable. Slow is where clarity lives. The second lesson I'm taking with me is this. Confidence grows when you keep your promises to yourself. Not the big promises, the small ones. The promise to organize your cards every week. The promise to batch your ESN. The promise to show up online in your own way. The promise to send prep guides on time. The promise to take breaks when you need them. The promise to update your workflow instead of putting it off. Every time you follow through on a small promise, your confidence grows a little. Every time you keep a commitment to yourself, you trust yourself more, and that trust becomes the foundation of your business. Confidence isn't built by praise. Confidence isn't built by likes. Confidence isn't built by perfect sessions. Confidence grows from consistency, from the small agreements you make with yourself and keep. If I could talk to my younger photography self, I'd tell her to stop looking for confidence outside of herself. It's built internally, one small choice at a time. The third lesson I'm taking into the new year is that boundaries protect your creativity. For years, I thought boundaries were about control, about saying no, about limiting access. But boundaries are actually about protection, protecting your energy, protecting your time, protecting your capacity, protecting your ability to think clearly, protecting your ability to create beautiful work without drowning in stress. This year, I strengthened my boundaries. I tightened my communication windows. I created clearer prep guides. I simplified my pricing. I adjusted my turnaround times. I protected my days off. I stopped responding to requests outside my availability. And here's what happened. I didn't lose clients. I gained respect. I gained clarity. I gained breathing room. I gained creativity back. Boundaries don't push people away. Boundaries make space for your best work to show up. This leads into lesson 4. Simplifying your business makes growth easier. I used to make things complicated workflows, complicated marketing, complicated systems, complicated pricing. But complexity drains you. Complexity confuses clients. Complexity slows down your momentum. This year, I made things simpler. I simplified my booking flow. I simplified my emails. I simplified my content. I simplified my editing routine. I simplified my client experience. and everything became clearer. Clearer for me, clearer for my clients, clearer for my schedule. Simplicity isn't about doing less. Simplicity is about doing what matters and removing the noise around it. The fifth lesson I'm carrying with me into the new year is perhaps the most important one. Joy matters more than strategy. Joy in your sessions, joy in your workflow, joy in your creative process, joy in the way you run your business, joy in the parts of photography that lit you up in the beginning. You can build the best strategy in the world, but if joy isn't present, it will always feel heavy. If joy isn't present, burnout comes faster. If joy isn't present, your work loses its spark. If joy isn't present, your clients feel the tension. I'm taking joys seriously next year. Joy in learning something new. Joy in shooting for myself. Joy in experimenting with new styles. Joy in connecting with clients. Joy in teaching. Joy in building what I've been dreaming about. Joy isn't optional. Joy is fuel. And when your business is fueled by joy, everything flows more naturally. These lessons shaped me this year, not with force, but with softness. And that's how I want to move into the new year. Softer, clearer, more grounded, more sure of myself, more connected to my purpose, more aligned with the kind of photography world I want to build. There's something freeing about acknowledging what you learned. It validates your journey. It honors your growth. It gives meaning to the hard weeks and the good ones. And once you recognize the lessons, you get to decide how you'll use them. As I've been sitting with these lessons, I keep realizing how much of this year pushed me to rethink what growth actually looks like. Growth used to feel like something external: more clients, more sessions, more income, more visibility. But this year, growth felt internal. It felt quieter, softer, more personal, and honestly, more meaningful. When you run a photography business, it's easy to get caught up in the visible parts: the bookings, the numbers, the social media engagement, the gear, the trends. But the truth is, most of the transformation happens behind the scenes, in the small decisions, in the quiet realizations, in the boundaries you set, in the skills you strengthen, in the ways you learn to trust yourself more. This year taught me that those internal shifts matter just as much as the external wins, sometimes even more. One of the biggest internal shifts I'm taking with me is learning to listen to my energy sooner. For years, I'd push through overwhelm. I'd ignore the signs. I'd tell myself, it's just a busy season, or I'll rest later. But ignoring my energy always led to the same place: burnout, resentment, and a loss of creativity. When you learn to read your own energy, you start recognizing patterns. You start noticing that certain kinds of sessions drain you more. You start noticing that certain weeks feel heavier. You start noticing that your creativity dips when your schedule is too tight. You start noticing that your patience wears thin when you don't build in breaks. And once you notice those things, you can make choices that protect your well-being. You can adjust. You can pause. You can plan differently. You can set boundaries that keep you steady instead of stretched thin. If I could give every photographer one gift for the new year, it would be the ability to notice their energy early and honor it. Not push through it, not shame themselves for it. Honor it. Another lesson that deepened for me this year was the importance of letting things evolve. Your photography style evolves, your workflow evolves, your marketing evolves, your niche evolves, you evolve. But we often cling to old versions of our business because they feel familiar, even when they no longer fit, even when they feel heavy, even when they create friction. Letting things evolve isn't a sign that you were wrong before. It's a sign that you're growing. Some of the most powerful decisions you'll make in the new year might look like letting something go. Letting go of a niche that no longer inspires you. Letting go of a workflow that feels outdated. Letting go of old pricing that doesn't support your life. Letting go of habits that drain you. Release creates room for alignment. This year, I also learned how important connection is, real connection, not surface level. Connection with clients, connection with your audience, connection with your own creative process, connection with your community. We live in a world where photographers are constantly told to market, 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 but connection is the foundation of all of it. Connection builds trust. Connection leads to referrals. Connection creates loyalty. Connection shapes your brand more than any trend can. I'm taking that lesson into the new year with intention. I want to deepen the way I connect. I want to slow down enough to hear people. I want to create content that feels like a conversation. I want to show up in ways that build trust, not pressure. Another lesson that I'm carrying forward is the reminder that systems support your creativity. They don't replace it. Systems aren't boring. Systems aren't rigid. Systems aren't restrictive. Systems are freeing. When your business has structure, you get your energy back. You make fewer decisions. You waste less time. You stress less. You move more confidently. You create more freely. I used to resist systems because I wanted to stay creative. I didn't want structure. I didn't want rules. But structure doesn't restrict creativity, it protects it. This year, I saw how much easier everything felt when my systems were clear, when my booking flow was simple, when my emails were already written, when my prep guides answered the questions before clients even asked, when my editing workflow was predictable, when my delivery system was consistent. Your business doesn't need complicated systems, it needs supportive ones, clear ones that allow you to focus on the parts of your work that matter most. And then there's this, the lesson that your art matters, not just to clients, not just to your business, to you. This year reminded me that photography is more than a service. It's creative expression, it's storytelling, it's connection, it's memory keeping, it's a visual diary. It's a way of noticing the world. When you get caught in the business side, it's easy to lose that connection to your art. But when you nurture your creativity, when you shoot for yourself, experiment, study light, notice beauty in small things, your business benefits, your clients benefit, your energy benefits. Creativity isn't a luxury. Creativity is part of your health as a photographer. And here's another lesson that stuck with me this year. You don't need to carry everything at once. You don't need to build everything this season. You don't need to stretch yourself thin across every idea. You don't need to chase every opportunity. A sustainable photography business is built slowly and intentionally. You choose your focus. You choose your pace. You choose what matters this season. You choose what can wait. The idea that you have to do everything right now is an illusion. The pace of social media tries to convince you otherwise, but real growth happens quietly, behind the scenes, in the consistency of your actions, not in the size of your leaps. This year taught me to let myself be paced by purpose, not pressure. And there's something incredibly freeing about that. When you choose what matters most and let the rest wait, you step into your next chapter with so much more confidence, so much more presence, so much more clarity. You feel lighter, you feel clearer, you feel supported by your own choices instead of crushed by them. And that's why I'm taking this next lesson into the new year too. You're allowed to build a business that fits you. Not the industry, not the trends, not the expectations of others, not the pressure of comparison. A business that fits your energy, a business that fits your creativity, a business that fits your lifestyle, a business that fits your values, a business that fits your vision. When you give yourself permission to build in alignment, everything becomes more sustainable, everything becomes more fulfilling. Everything feels more like home. And the final lesson for this section is this: gratitude is fuel. Gratitude for your clients, gratitude for your own growth, gratitude for the people who support you, gratitude for sessions that challenged you, gratitude for sessions that inspired you, gratitude for your art, gratitude for the opportunities that found you, gratitude for the lessons that shaped you. Gratitude grounds you. Gratitude recalibrates you. Gratitude reminds you of how far you've come, even on the days when you feel stuck. Gratitude creates momentum because it shifts your perspective from pressure to possibility. And that shift is everything. The way you see your business changes the way you build your business. As I close this section, I want you to think about what you're grateful for this year, not in a cliche way, in a genuine, reflective way. What moments made you proud? What clients touched your heart? What parts of your journey surprised you? What lessons softened you? What decisions brought relief? Carry that with you. Let that gratitude guide your next steps. As I step into the final stretch of this reflection, I keep thinking about how different life feels when you stop treating your business like a race and start treating it like a relationship. A relationship with your creativity, a relationship with your clients, a relationship with your energy, a relationship with your future self. That's really what these lessons have been teaching me all year, to approach my business with more compassion than pressure, to treat myself with the same care I want to give the people I photograph, to stop expecting myself to perform at superhuman levels, to actually listen when my mind or body says, this pace isn't working. And the truth is, most photographers don't need more hustle. They need more softness, more space, more honesty, more alignment, more trust in themselves, more gentleness around their mistakes, more permission to be human. So, as I carry these lessons into the new year, I'm reminding myself and you that you don't have to rebuild everything overnight. You don't have to turn yourself into a new version of a photographer because the calendar flipped. You don't have to create a dramatic transformation. You just need to carry forward what matters and leave behind what doesn't. One of the biggest things I want to carry forward is presence. Not the constant distraction, not the frantic multitasking, not the hustle energy that demands you stay on all the time. Presence, the ability to be in the moment with your clients, the ability to be grounded during sessions, the ability to focus deeply when you're editing instead of juggling 10 things. Presence changes your work in ways gear never could. It changes the way clients trust you. It changes the way sessions flow. It changes the way you see light, emotion, connection, and detail. It changes the way you create. It changes the way you show up. Presence is powerful. Presence is memorable. Presence is rare. Another thing I'm carrying into the new year is intentionality. Every year, I'm reminded of how easy it is to drift off path without even noticing. You say yes to things that don't align. You hang on to workflows that no longer serve you. You keep old habits because they're familiar. You follow trends that don't fit your style. But when you bring intentionality into your decisions, even small ones, your path becomes clearer. Your schedule becomes lighter. Your work becomes more grounded. Your marketing becomes more meaningful. Intentionality is the difference between reacting and guiding, between chasing trends and building something lasting, between burnout and sustainability. And of course, I'm taking creativity with me. Photography is both a craft and a profession. It requires skill, strategy, systems, and structure, but it also requires heart. And when you stop nurturing that creative part of yourself, everything else starts to feel mechanical. Creativity is the spark that keeps this industry alive. It's what helps you see the world differently. It's what helps you tell stories with depth. It's what keeps your passion from slipping into obligation. So in the new year, I'm giving myself space to create without pressure, to play with light again, to experiment, to shoot for myself, to revisit what made me fall in love with photography in the first place. I want you to take that with you too. The reminder that you're not just a business owner, you are an artist, and your art deserves time, attention, and appreciation. I'm also taking clarity into the new year. Clarity about what I want, clarity about my boundaries, clarity about the pace I'm willing to work, clarity about the clients I want to serve, clarity about the kind of impact I want to make through my work and through Savvy Shutterbug. Clarity is grounding. It removes the chaos. It quiets the noise. It gives your decisions direction instead of leaving them floating. And finally, I'm taking gentleness. Gentleness toward myself, gentleness toward my goals, gentleness toward my process, gentleness toward the seasons of my business that feel harder, gentleness toward the parts of myself that are still learning. Gentleness doesn't make you weak. Gentleness makes you sustainable. Gentleness makes your creativity steadier. Gentleness makes your workflow calmer. Gentleness makes your business feel like a place you actually want to stay. As you step into the new year, I want you to think about what lessons you're carrying too. Not resolutions, not demands, not pressure. Lessons, truths, insights that softened or shaped you. Maybe you learned you're stronger than you thought. Maybe you learned you're allowed to change your mind. Maybe you learned your style is evolving. Maybe you learned your workflow needs support. Maybe you learned you're capable of more than you give yourself credit for. Maybe you learned that slowing down actually helps you grow. Honor those lessons. Hold them close. Let them guide your next steps. You don't have to reinvent everything to start fresh. Sometimes the biggest fresh start is simply choosing to carry forward what makes you grounded and leaving the rest behind. And if you want support in the new year, I'd love for you to come join me inside the Savvy Shutterbug School community. It's where we talk honestly about building a sustainable photography business, one that honors your creativity, your energy, your boundaries, and your growth. It's where we work through workflow, pricing, confidence, and communication together. And if you want deeper help, you can explore my courses and digital resources anytime at savvyshutterbug.com. They're designed to help you build with clarity and ease, not pressure. You're not in this alone. You're growing, you're learning, you're becoming more aligned every month. And this next year has space for so much possibility without requiring perfection to get there. Carry what matters, release what doesn't, and step into your next chapter with presence, intention, creativity, clarity, and gentleness guiding the way.